I mean, everyone wants to make a racial issue out of it. Ooh, the, white replacement theory. No. This is a voting rights question. I have less political power because they're importing a brand new electorate. Why should I sit back and take that?
I want to talk about a greater long-term conflict than even I realized this would be.
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
When Maga rose up 5 or 6 years ago, I wasn't at all surprised. Hell, I knew the son bitch would get the nomination the minute he announced. But I really thought that it would be short-lived, that people would see through this shit.
The truth is that there's an invasion happening at our southern border.
But Trump spoke to people in a way that no one had spoken to them before. They call him a truthful liar. And what they meant by that was, yeah, they know that he lies about shit, but he also tells them the truth about that which is important. The stuff in their lives that have made their lives so difficult over the last 30 years, where they completely got left out of peace and prosperity.
We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, they tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided.
America's going through big changes. It has for a long time. But they're not slowing down. We like to remember the 60s as a decade of change. That's not even close to what we're going through now. With the information superhighway, the world's knowledge doubles. Not every 6 months, it's every 6 days now. Can you imagine that? The world's knowledge doubles in 6 days. Just 10 years ago, it was 6 months. 10 years before that, it was 6 years. This is where we are. It's massive changes. And we need to stop being quite so hard on all the people that are having to go through these changes. Democrats need to understand that these changes are scary. And yes, a lot of this is the change in colors and demographic. This country used to be solidly white, solidly Christian. We have to understand that they've been told for years that the very thing that they should fear most, black people, brown people, coming to take their neighborhoods, take their children, cause crime, rape their daughters, are the very thing that they see coming now. And of course, things like Fox News are more than happy to feed that fire. Look at the horde coming for us, my God. Who will stop them?
So it might be time for Joe Biden to let us know what Ketanji Brown Jackson's LSAT score was. What the hell did she do in the LSAT?
Change is hard for people to understand. This is nothing new. But it happens fast. And people are living longer. Back in my day, people only lived to be 60 or 70. So, wasn't that long ago they remembered.
We're still not precisely sure how George Floyd died.
So Donald Trump gave a voice to these people who did not feel visible. For the first time, they did. Because he spoke to the values that they believed in.
Here he comes, boys, the mammoth of Midtown, the behemoth of business, the colossus of crime, Mr. Donald J. Trump himself. Look at him waving as he rides down the escalator from the Trump Tower food court. Give him hell, Donald. And that's a joke for old people.
Now, obviously, it was all bullshit. He was lying. But it was pretty damn convincing.
Very few unarmed black men are killed by white cops these days. Where's George Floyd when you need him?
And these fears have led to massive conflict. Not just in elections, but people are getting killed, people are getting shot, there's riots, all kinds of crazy shit. People are walking into Walmart and shooting up a bunch of Mexican people because they're pretty sure they're coming to kill their children. That's a problem.
The only job training program this administration has gotten behind in 2.5 years is getting black people to sell more weed in the cities.
We might not be able to stop Fox News and Rupert Murdoch from spreading the lies, though by God we're gonna try. But there's a cultural transition happening in America, and Democrats need to realize that it is happening, and it's scary to people. And it's time for us to address that issue.
Our border is wide open and out of control, and Americans are dying because of it.
You know, time was, nobody trusted the Native Americans. Those damn Indians, nothing but thieves and beggars. Now they're out there on those reservations just living off the government tit, they used to say. They were hated by Christian conservatives. But then World War II happened. And those shitty, drunk Indians out there on the reservation turned out to be some of the greatest fighters that we had. And our greatest code in World War II was Navajo. A language we never could have used to trick the Germans. They had no idea what Navajo was. But we had some guys that did. So they called a tank a bear. They called an artillery piece a coyote. All the Germans heard was, hey, she, mon, she. What the Navajo code talkers heard were coordinates to blow up a goddamn tank. Over time, things like that forced Americans to accept Native Americans as Americans. My God, they were here first. It's the least the white people could do.
Sleepy Joe has been a disaster for this country. Sorry, that's my ankle monitor. My ankle monitor is very smart and knows whenever I leave my house, which means my probation officer will be here shortly to escort me back home. Probation! We love probation, don't we, folks? One of the best bations. It means you're a pro at bation. And of course, the only level above pro when it comes to bation is master, and that's a politics joke for 12-year-olds.
So I look to the younger generation. You know, those young whippersnappers younger than me that will grow up in a world that's quite a bit different from the one that I grew up in. And the world will change a little more. And we'll get a little closer to peace and tranquility. Peace and tranquility is a goal for all people. And there's a lot of people who don't have peace and tranquility. And often it's because they're under attack.
Migrants are absolutely invading this country.
Just for living their lives, seeing their doctor, making love to the person they want to make love to. As if people should give a damn what those people do. In the book, The Republic, Plato spoke about today's generation. How he worries for the world, for his country, for society, for man itself. If these young people and these outsiders take over, what's going to happen to us, he wrote, when these morons who don't understand old values and don't care about tradition take over. Plato said that a long, long time ago. Somehow, we survive. And America's the greatest country on earth.
Our country is under attack.
We can survive this. Republicans are going to destroy themselves dealing with this issue. Democrats need to take this issue in hand because it's right up our alley. We actually do care about people. Republicans don't. They care about power. and they'll say whatever they need to get it. But it is time to take the reins, boys. Because Republicans have obviously dropped the reins. The horse is out of control. We're gonna wait and let young people take it over?
The other day, my 5-year-old came home from school and told me he launched an exploratory committee for 2076. Then I asked him if he has a super PAC, and he told me, no, that's just a backpack. And that is today's politics jokes for kids.
Or are we gonna show them how? Because like Joe Biden says, America owns the finish line. We are gonna be greater because of our change, because of our diversity, not weaker. And any Republican who thinks that we are...
America is being invaded. No American is safe.
...are racist. Y'all take it easy. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal.
OK, let's first acknowledge the irony of cowardly freaking out about migrants in front of a sign that reads, Mr. Strong. Never before has a nameplate felt so intensely sarcastic, but also, setting aside the blatant xenophobia there, are the two of you wearing matching outfits? Because it sure feels like you met up at Men's Warehouse, made a beeline for the Caucasian collection, picked out the exact same suit, and then wore it like Tweedledum and Tweedle Deportation.